doing?
Good. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy December. Happy holidays.
Happy time zone.
Happy time zones. Hi everyone. How has your December been? Are you getting in the holiday spirit? Have you done anything Christmassy, Malin?
I have a tiny
Ah!
Wait, look, it turns on.
Oh, so cute.
It's because we have a proper real one downstairs in the living room. And
Yeah.
then these are two fake ones we bought when we were living in a small flat. And we've kept them, but each one, like my husband and I both have one in our separate rooms so that we both have a little bit of Christmas with us.
Amazing. I love that. I'm going to steal that idea because I feel like I could totally fit a little Christmas tree right here.
I got an early gift yesterday, so I want to show off because I went to see my brother and my sister-in-law, and because we both live in London, we were like, let's exchange our gifts now rather than carry them in a suitcase to Brussels and then exchanging them there and then having a lot to carry. And because they're coming with the baby as well, they're like, we don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
have it with transport. So we
Less
did an
stuff.
early gift exchange, and I have gotten my little
Ooh.
Gallo lipstick. It's just the packaging is beautiful, so I haven't taken it properly off
Oh my
out of the packaging, like just a little pouch and everything.
Love this luxury moment.
And basically, so it's the mirror lipstick, the mirror case.
Holy moly, that is so beautiful.
You take it out and it opens as a mirror. And my brother got it engraved with my screen name. It says Malin. Isn't that so cute?
I'm dying. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
And it's like, this is the shade. It's like a dark red.
Oh
It looks very light on camera, but it's darker in real life.
I am speechless. That is so beautiful.
I'm so happy. This is what I wanted, by the way, because we talked about gifts on the Troublemakers shopping.
Remember that, yeah.
Game, and I said I asked for this because it's the kind of luxury item that it's not that expensive, but it's more expensive than what I want to spend on myself.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect gift. And
Yes.
I mentioned it to my brother, and he was like, this is in our budget from me and Nina. So like, yes, we can, get you that. And I'm so happy. Like, he got engraved with Malin.
Oh my gosh. Wait, we have to answer the question. So why your screen name, does he know you like that?
He does know that I write and that this is like a hobby. My brother and I talk a lot about, he's a very corporate guy, but he loves talking about what is your 5-year plan, and not as in your career, but just in life. How do you want to, like, where are you trying to get to? How are you going to get there? He loves to, he's the Virgo in me, like he is an organizer, planner, boily who loves to have like little map mind things and just plans about how to get from step A to. So he knows my ultimate life goal is to one day be published and make some sort of money from writing.
Fun. So I love that you can share that dream and that side of yourself.
I've never shared my writing with him, and I don't intend to, because there are 6 months.
We have to draw the line somewhere. Boundaries, people.
We have to draw the line.
But yeah, happy lazy Sunday, you beautiful creatures. Hi, Steve.
What about you? What are you? Is there Christmassy spirit?
Yeah, I have been having a great December. I have been keeping a list this year in my bullet journal of all the like Christmassy stuff that I've been doing to try and keep my, remember all the Christmas spirit. And it's just little things like Luke made eggnog ice cream. We've watched a lot of Christmas movies. I made a family recipe that my aunt always makes around Christmas time. And I put on my Elvis Christmas record yesterday while we were in the kitchen. So listen to Blue Christmas, which is just one of my favorite Christmas carols.
Oh my God, I love that. That is very wholesome and very cute.
Yeah, it's been really nice. For Stieg, my December has been a mood. I go all out on decorations and vibes, and yet I didn't get to do every decoration I wanted to do this year, which means that my 2025 Yuletide Notion page is already packed with ideas.
I love that. I love a good Notion page, though.
And I guarantee that, even your 50%, 70% is still awesome. Like you were making that orange garland on like December 2nd, I swear to God.
It was so cute. I love it.
Some commotion for the lipstick. That design is sleek AF and
Yes.
it does look great. I would treasure that forever. Oh my gosh.
I'm so happy. And like you can buy refills of different colors and you can buy different cases. So like it could become a
Cool.
collection. I know Wallace mentioned she has a few as well and that she buys one in Paris every time she goes to Paris. And I was like, I do not have that kind of luxury money, but I love the concept.
It's a very special gift, and every time I go to Paris is what a sentence that is. But
I love it. I mean, I could generally say that because it's really close by for London, but if you say that from anywhere else where it's quite far, it's like, oh yeah, that is intense.
hi, Katie. Thanks for coming. Love a man with a plan and a vision. A person who doesn't dream or aspire is so mid.
Yeah.
This is. I have
But
to
also
say, I do agree.
we've all been in a spot where you can't dream and inspire because you're
Yeah.
like dragged down by life. And I feel
Hmm.
like he's always the one who's like, you gotta look at your end game. Like right now where you are in your spot is not your end game. So what
Yeah.
is it and how do you get there? And that
Yeah.
is very motivational, but sometimes let me be depressed, like every once in
Yeah.
a blue moon.
No, that's definitely the difference between my early 20s and my late 20s, where like my early 20s I was trying to make it to dinner time, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And could
yes.
not see further than like the 5 feet ahead of me. And really when I started getting back into writing in my mid 20s, that's when kind of like my outlook
Is,
on life turned around because I
is that when
started
you're
to
sort of
think
like, yeah,
further ahead.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
This is so similar. And it's also like often I feel like as a community, a lot of us started writing again later in our lives as we started struggling with something. Like I feel
Hmm.
like it was a great escape. And the moment you realize this can be more than an escape and I could do
Yeah.
something more with it is when you start dreaming and aspiring again. So I love that.
Yeah. Need a dream. Rewatching the beginning and OMG, that lipstick is so cute and love that it has Malin on it.
Oh, it
We are
does.
reclaiming your identity. Steve was going to watch The Holiday, never seen it, but my brother invited me to the cinema instead, so I'm doing that. Oh, that's still a good Christmas
Both are a
memory.
good plan. Both.
Yes, yeah, Brother of the Year award for real. Elvis Christmas album is so lovely. Thank you. That was one of my best thrift store finds. I was so excited. And you're seeing the Kraken instead, which is not the spirit of things, but a leather-clad Aaron Taylor Johnson with daddy issues is on the top of my wish list. So
Is that
there's
not
that.
is that not Craven instead of the Kraken? Because I've seen a trailer for that. It's like a superhero name or something, and but I kind of love it. This is very boomer of you, Steve, to be like, I think it's called the Kraken.
But I just went along with it. I was like, yeah, monster movie sounds
Or am
great.
I thinking of a different movie with another, leather clad?
This is definitely something to Google on our first sprint.
Yeah, yeah.
Keiko is here. Hi, Keiko. Thanks for coming. Wanted to write this weekend, but made the mistake to start watching a new series. What is it?
I did the
I'm.
same. I started watching High Potential, and now
Oh,
I just
yeah. What
it's
is
like
that?
it's like a very Sherlock Holmes-esque type of show where,
Ooh,
some person consults with the police and has a special gift that allows them to see stuff that others can't see.
love.
But I love that for once it's gender reversed and it's this cleaning lady at the police station who sees the board, there's something wrong on it, and she's like, that's not a suspect, that's the victim, and she like
Ooh.
corrects it, and the day after the police is like, who did that? And then they hire her to like consult on cases. So it's very fun. I'm
I
loving it.
love that. I love that. You can still dream and yearn even if you're bogged down by life, but I'm talking more about the unemployed boyfriend who only games and steals from you, sort of type of uninspired.
Yeah, I know the vibe. Yeah.
Agree.
It's
Yeah, we don't
okay.
know what it's called. It is Craven.
Okay. I didn't call you a boomer. I said that is very boomer of you, which we all have boomer things we do.
Yeah. Speaking of boomer things, I have to apologize to Katie because I was an absolute menace on the stream last.
where you are. It's 4 a.m. for me. I can't watch you guys.
Well, I really wasn't on the chat. I was up late and I was getting ready for bed. I was so tired, half asleep, and I was like, I am that ADHD person who needs to have something playing like while I like brush my teeth and do my skincare and whatever. So I was like, oh, Katie's live. I'll just like put this on while I'm like literally asleep with my eyes closed, brushing my teeth. I had the phone in my pocket of my bathrobe. And when I pull it back out, I see that I have timed out Amanda for 600 seconds. From the chat, I was like, what? And I like, my eyes like pop wide open. I'm suddenly awake and I'm like trying to say that I'm sorry and I'm like making typos left and right.
I kind of love that this is your version of butt calling someone instead of sitting on your phone and calling a fucking ex or something. You managed to ban someone from the chat.
Yeah, so that's my boomer moment. Like, I just can't be trusted with a wrench. And if y'all want to take it away from me,
don't give the woman a wrench.
I don't deserve my wrench. I felt so bad.
So funny.
Oh no, I didn't know this. I literally was not even listening to what the chat was. I was half asleep.
Shut up and goodbye.
I feel so bad about it. Oh my god.
This is hilarious though.
So that was my embarrassing moment. And then of course I have to like go to sleep right after. I'm like in bed. I'm like, that was the worst thing ever. I'm so
now you're going to think about it while trying to fall asleep as well.
It took me so long to fall asleep because I was like, how do I undo what I just did?
Oh no, she didn't even know. She didn't notice.
Well, she was timed out, so she couldn't say.
Yeah, maybe she did notice. She was like, I guess I'm leaving now. Bye, guys.
Okay, that makes me feel better, but I just felt like an absolute menace. How are you liking the show? I imagine you're liking it a lot.
I am liking it. It's very casual watching type of vibes, and that's what I wanted. There's not much pressure to watch it because the story doesn't seem to be too deep. And apparently it's inspired by / an exact copy of a French-Belgian show. So I watched the trailer for the after and I was like, oh my god, this is the exact same scene, but just in French. So
are you gonna
now I'm gonna finish the English one, the American one, and then I'm probably gonna restart with the French one just to compare.
That would be so interesting. I'd love to see like how they adapted it.
Yeah, but that also means I could potentially convince my parents to watch the French version with me when I'm in Brussels for the holidays.
There you go.
There we go.
Love it. How convenient. Keika started Blood Ties, which is a revenge espionage historical Colombian telenovela.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. And anything with espionage, like I was such a spy kid when I was a kid. I am totally going to write spy novels someday.
Have you watched, because I have no idea whether it's any good, have you watched the new one with Keira Knightley, Black Doves? That's just out on Netflix. It's a spy thriller thing.
Oh my gosh, adding that to my list immediately.
I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know if it's good, but I keep seeing people talking about it.
That was one of the books I was trying to write in high school that I never really got off the ground, was a spy novel.
Was it like a action-y thriller vibe spy novel, or was it a totally spies vibes spy novel?
It was a ripoff of the TV show Chuck, which my whole family was obsessed with. And so it took that premise of like normal person having to be put undercover. So I had like my main character had to be in witness protection, and the situation was so serious that she had to live in a house with 6 spies.
Of course she did. Were they all caught?
Maybe.
Okay, I would read that. Please finish writing it. Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to that book someday, I swear. I just want to finish up these comments. Have seen the first episode of that, Malin. I love it. Yay. Keira Knightley is back on the scene. I'm so excited.
It's a TV show, but I don't know if it's like a limited series, like only a few short episodes, and then you have the end. I feel like it's that kind of vibe rather than a long TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, also obsessed with Chuck, and 6 was way overboard. I remember thinking, like, when I was trying to rewrite it, I was like, maybe I need to drop it down to 4.
Yeah, because then at some point you're like, I guess you and you can have the same personality. Thank you.
Yeah. I have no idea why the heck I went for 6, but
It's very, do you know what? It feels very manga slash
Hmm.
Korean show coded, where like usually it's like a poor girl and she ends up in a house with all of these rich guys.
Yeah.
And like it's like I don't know why that was such a thing about like reverse harems, but without the sex part. Usually there's like one
Hmm.
dude, like one guy you're meant to root for, and it's usually the one who hates her the most and bullies her the most.
God.
I swear that is like a formula I have seen so many freaking times.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
that's so true. Like they were very typed. Like this is the
yeah,
like the emo moody guy. This is the strong jock guy.
yes,
Like this is the beautiful vixen. Like they were all
yeah.
very like archetype
There's like the little
coded.
stereotypes I love.
Yeah. Marta is watching us on 2 times speed. But yeah, my accidental walking incident. I'm glad none of the archivists are here, except did I see that Lynn is here? Because I don't want this to be in the archives.
Oh, it should go in the archives. I think Lynn, yeah, Lynn is here. I saw a hi from her earlier.
Don't tell anyone, Lynn.
Archives right now.
Reminds me of when the troublemakers gave the Chaos Queens wrenches, and within 2 minutes, Violet managed to accidentally block me.
Accidentally. Look what she did.
Accidentally. Yeah. The girl ends up living in the house of the rich guy, of course. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Did they have cool stuff? You know, I don't think I got that far.
Give us the cool code names.
Yeah, that definitely was missing. I was struggling just to come up with 6 names, to be honest with you.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I feel that from all the reverse harem I've read on KU. People do
Mm,
try, they tend to just recycle the same ones that have been used in another book by someone else. It's just
yeah,
always the same.
yeah. Okay, we've been talking for 17 minutes. Um,
Yeah.
Before we dive into our sprints, do you want to give a quick writing update? We didn't stream last month because I was ill. It's been a little while. Do you want to talk about how things are going and what you're going to work on
Um,
today?
I will do it very quickly. I'm currently still working on The Art of Summoning Demons, my eternal book that will never, ever, ever be done and over with.
Yes, it
But
will.
I am currently on chapter 17 out of 30. I'm definitely counting this now as a brand new draft because I have been
Mm.
rewriting so many chapters and so many scenes. And I'm very much in the mood set of like, oh my God, I have evolved as a writer because I hate everything and have to rewrite most of it. So yeah.
It just means that you're leveling up. And 17 out of
Leveling up.
30, you're over the halfway point.
Yeah, I am over the halfway point, and my goal for today's stream is at the very least to finish. So I'm middle of chapter 17, so I want to finish that one, and I want to do chapter 18 as well for sure. And then whatever
Amazing.
else I can do. And I did say to Anna, by the way, that I'm open to streaming until as late as she wants to because I
Hmm.
have no plans. So
Yeah. So we're not capping the app and we're not capping the sprints. We're just going to be here forever
yeah, yeah,
until we're happy with the amount of work that we've done today.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm going to be working on Hera's book today. I'm participating in our little deadline December group to try and actually finish our drafts by the end of January. So we've been making like November, December, January goals. And I'm reaching for the stars. I really want to add 20,000 words to Hera's book this month, which
Yes.
means I need to have added 10,000 by Monday because that's halfway through the month, right?
And how many do you have so far for the weekend?
I have added so far 6,800.
That's amazing. So what? Do you only need 4K today?
Yeah, by
That's pretty
tomorrow.
good.
Yeah.
You can do it for sure.
So I'm feeling optimistic. I had a really good writing day yesterday, and I'm hoping that I still have some of that like energy. We'll see.
Yeah.
So that's what we are up to, and we do have a little topic picked out that we were going to talk about in November. So I'm excited to come back around to it. But speaking of like my Totally Spies moment,
This is perfect for that topic, actually. That is on brand.
yeah, our chitty chat topic. Not that we need one because we'll chat
Yeah, we
at
started
length
yapping it
about
all.
anything. But we do have some discussion questions to share with y'all about writing self-indulgently and our self-indulgent projects. So that's what we're going to talk about when we get back from our first sprint.
Yay.
Yay!
Focus.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to switch over Oh my god, my StreamYard is freezing.
No, don't
Okay.
freeze.
I am hopping on this Flocus train. I think it's so cute.
It's because of your friend Cody, I think, who
I know. It's so cute.
I
And
saw that. I was like, this looks amazing. I want to use it. And then Stieg also wanted to use it. And then now you're also using it because there's now a lot of us who are using it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as much as I love giving Laura the keys to my entire castle, she could kick me off of the planet if she wanted to, and YouTube would never see me again.
You would never do that.
But I just love this little Christmas tree. So, how does 25 sound to everybody? Good. The chat can't sound off any faster, but all right. So here's our first sprint. Let's get some words in. Good luck, everybody.
What happened?
What
We
the
started
hell?
like 2 seconds ago.
Sorry. I do not know why.
Why are we so big?
I'm so sorry. right, everyone. That is the end of our first sprint.
Woo.
How did
Nice.
you do?
Good. I'm currently grabbing things from one scene that used to be separate and putting it into the previous scene because there doesn't need to be a separation of these two scenes, in fact, as I've now realized. So I'm doing that work. I'm really loving being able to have my split screen on Scrivener. That helps a lot.
Yeah,
See both. Yeah. I feel
absolutely.
so much more confused if I can't do that and I'm trying to grab things from something and then having to like go back and forth between the two. So I much prefer that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got about 300 new words in, or like retyped words at least.
Awesome. Very good. Can I
What about you?
know, can you give me a hint about what scene it is?
It's still the one I was in before, but essentially, so there's a scene where my character Olive goes to confront this guy Joe after a
Right.
game that he's playing, like he's playing soccer, and she then gets a text from this other dude that is like accusing her of being a witch and stuff like that, and he's being an asshole. And I initially had these two scenes sort of separate, like they're one after the other, but they were technically separate. And actually, I've just made a nicer transition between the two so that the second one can be into the first one, if that makes sense. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm currently, and I've got about 500 words left to either put back in or change or whatever, and then I'll be done with that scene. So yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
So
I
good.
did good. My writing session yesterday ended on I finished a really long scene. And so
Yeah.
now I have to kind of figure out what my next scene is going to be. And I'm also writing my midpoint right now, I think. And so I kind of just wanted to pause and think about my outline. And so I just kind of like journaled through what the next beats are going to be
Yeah.
through the midpoint and bad guys close in.
Yeah.
So I did like 250 words of like word dump. That probably isn't actually
It's
going to go in the
good.
book, but it was
Useful anyway.
useful. Now I feel like I have an idea of a scene that I can write on the next sprint.
Nice.
So yeah,
Exciting.
we asked everyone what they're working on today, and Steek said, I spent the day at the secondhand market, was a bust, and then writing at a cafe. Now I'm making dinner, which is stew, and want to write a little bit more in the middle of a spicy scene.
Yay,
Amazing.
spice.
Amazing. Yeah, that does sound like the perfect day.
Yeah.
Lynn is keeping my secrets, which I appreciate.
I'm gonna check the archives at some point and see if she really is.
Keiko's hopping back into their series. Have fun writing. At least I get to write again after 2 months. Yeah, getting back into it.
Yeah.
Katie's trying to get my NetGalley percentage up. So I read an arc yesterday, finished it at 5 a.m. today, technically. Oh my gosh. Did you
Oh my
pull an
god.
all-nighter? We started this at 10 a.m. Eastern. Are you
Can
alive?
I
When did you sleep?
Katie, did you finish it at 5 a.m. because you were so like, this is my goal and I really want
Mm,
to get this percentage up? Or was that book that gripping and that good
yeah.
that you had to continue reading it? And if yes, can we know what it is so we can
Mm-hmm.
mark it as TBR?
Keiko's caught between their fanfic and their original story because my friend's second book came out a week ago, the one where I read all 5 drafts. I remember that. Congrats to your friend.
That's so exciting.
I'm glad that that's giving you some inspiration.
Yeah, that's also really wholesome when like I feel like we hear a lot of reactions to people getting published or getting their books out as like a bit of
Mm-hmm.
jealousy sometimes from other authors. And I feel like it's so nice when in the community you can just be proud of your friends and happy for them and
Yeah.
motivated from their success and from them doing the things. And it's
Yeah.
just like, yes, this is motivating me to do the things as well.
Yeah. Especially when you've been so involved in the way that Keiko
Yeah.
has. Like when Demons finally comes into the world, like I am gonna have like that pride as well because it
You
feels like a
will
success to me also.
deserve your name on that cover.
It'll be so what a fantastic moment that'll be to hold that book in my hands. Like,
Like the
yay!
day I publish it, whether traditionally or self-published, the day I finally put it out there in the world. Excuse you, are you gonna puke in my room? He's making the noises.
Uh-oh.
Okay, did you just come downstairs to puke in my room? He puked in my room yesterday, so that means there's an actual problem if he does.
He's going through a rude phase.
He's going through a rude tummy phase. Something's
If you need to go
slightly
check
wrong.
on him, I understand.
He looks fine right now. He didn't actually puke, but yeah, we'll see. It might have been a cough. Maybe he's got flu.
We'll be watching him.
He's making the weirdest noises. Like just back
He's
there, like
expelling his demons.
yeah. And the demons might be food. Don't puke on my bag. I'll be very annoyed if you do that. So launch your bag.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry
you're
about that.
good. You're good. Marta challenged myself to edit as many chapters as physically possible. I've done 6 so far. Hoping to do another 4 today. That's crazy, Marta.
Wow. Yeah.
Great job.
That is crazy.
We have to wrap up the stream.
Sorry, Steve, I forgot that we were actually doing the stream based on your schedule. My bad.
My bad.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keiko. It's like I've been trying to think of how to explain it because I don't really want to talk about it too much, but it is like pushing daisies mixed with Inception. And I know those two things don't go together.
These are the wildest like comps possible, and it's just both of these are fantastic. So,
but I think those both were like absolutely enormous inspirations for this book, which I know like sounds so crazy because they're so different. But the influence is like very apparent, I think, when you read it.
Please tell me there is someone who looks like Lee Pace, because pushing daisies.
You know, that could be arranged.
That can be arranged.
There is a certain dark-haired male character.
Just give him thick eyebrows, you know?
Yeah. I forget what this is for, but thank you, Steve. For deadline December, my goal is also 20K, currently at 3,271. Hey, the month is only half over.
Yes.
And we can do a lot with 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And also 3,000 is great. All right. Marta attempted to open my document. My laptop crashed. I tried to restart it and it forced an update on me. When the update finished, my oven timer started beeping. So I went to deal with that.
Chaotic.
Oh my goodness. Then opened the stream again and there were 30 seconds left. So my only accomplishment was literally opening my document.
The universe was like, you will do one task and one task only.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, one thing at a time, Marta. Jeez.
Yeah.
Katie wrote 912 words of my review. Clearly, I have a lot more feelings than I thought I did. I haven't even gotten to my negative parts.
Oh my god.
Well, that means that there was some good
words.
stuff.
Yeah, because 900 words of good stuff sounds really good.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining. Fed Roy and let him in the backyard that sprint and was watching the beginning of the stream.
Nice.
Marta will fight for Olive.
I mean, don't worry. He gets a lot more than what's coming for him. I was going to say he doesn't actually deserve what happens to him. That'd be extremely horrible of me to say. He deserves it. No.
Yeah. Laura's already thinking about 2025. Love this.
Yeah,
I'd love to know what some of them are. I'm searching for inspiration.
Is she doing 25 goals for 25?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Is that the point? So like you have 3 left to decide on, or?
Yeah. Katie did only get like 4 hours of sleep. I can't believe you woke up in time for this stream. That's crazy.
I forget Katie is quite a bit younger than I am. And in my 20s, I definitely used to have some nights that were like only 4 hours long top. And then I'd be fine the day after. Just so you know, Katie, it doesn't last. You can't do that in your 30s anymore.
No,
just letting
absolutely
you know.
not.
As someone who did that a lot, can't do it anymore.
Steve completed dinner and the spice scene ended in a fade to black because the chapter was already 4K words long. Now I'm literally starting the midpoint, which is going to be the villain reveal and major death of a character.
No, don't kill people, says the girl with a lot of death in her books.
So immensely proud of my friends. It takes a village, and I'm so happy and grateful to be a part of that village. Exactly. When she told on her Wattpad, hey, second book edits are finished and it comes out, I was so hyped. I'm always so hyped about this. And yes, the community you build about and around it, be it here on YouTube or Wattpad or some other site. Yeah, we're very lucky. Very lucky indeed. The Arc was a decent book. It's called French Press Love, and it did keep me glued to my Kindle, and I did want to finish it. But there were some frustrations I had with it. It's a slow burn sapphic romance about a rich girl getting a job at a coffee shop, and it's full of drama and messiness.
Okay. That sounds like a
Yeah,
contemporary show.
sounds
And
good.
unfortunately, I would be more interested if you told me there was magic or murder in it.
Yeah, I do love a coffee shop setting, though. That sounds really cozy. I'm so glad. I will keep that in mind, Katie, because I may need to send it to you. I know it's really like, unfortunately, obviously you want book comps and those are not book comps, but those things were so formative to me in my teenage years
But
that's just so directly where this book came from.
I don't think you need book comps when you're thinking of your inspiration and the reason
Yeah.
why you got an idea at the beginning. It's
Yeah.
more like later when you're like, how can I compare it to something in the market that someone might recommend and be like, I did like that aspect of this.
Yeah.
But
That'll
but
be
it's
the
a lot
trickier
more.
part.
I've heard it's more common nowadays as well to mention sort of both in query letters. And again, this is a question for Katie, who is the query queen. But
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen more and more examples of people saying they're mentioning both books and a TV show or a movie or something that's quite recent that can also be like thrown in the mix. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie. I will write this down. Absolutely. Talking about goals. 25 goals for 2025 is so stressful. What will we do in 2934?
Do you think we're still going to be alive? Is there cryogenization in our future league? Are we coming back for 2000?
I have some news. I have some news that you might not be ready to hear, Stieg.
Yeah,
We will be in the ground.
exactly. I hope I'll be in the ground. I don't want to see what the planet looks like then, please.
I'm very happy to be in the ground at that point. I'm so excited to start getting goals videos, especially from you, Marta. That'll be so fun. I find your goals so inspiring all the time because you're so well-rounded. Do so many things. Okay, I'm gonna switch us over to our topic for today, which was writing self-indulgently.
Yes.
We're definitely not capping the gap today. Sorry, guys.
No.
But so our first question, do you have a self-indulgent trash project? What makes something fall under the category of fun trash? What do we think?
So I feel like there's so much that can fall under the category of fun trash. But to me, it's if I'm writing something that I know in my mind would end up on Kindle Unlimited. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but to me, if it's a KU book, I know it can be fun trash. Now, obviously, there is bad trash on KU. I get it.
Yeah.
And then you also have the odd gem on KU that feels like, wow, this is very clearly a super well crafted story with a lot of depth. But in general, that's not what I expect, and that's not what I want from KU books. Like, I want it to be slightly trashy, and I feel like a part of the definition, because I don't have it down to a T, but like a part of the definition for me is that it has to remain sort of not lighthearted, because it can cover like a lot of the times authors like that love to delve into deeper, darker topics, but lighthearted in the terms of like, I know what's going to happen. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen. There is no like, this is very clearly a character that's going to discover she has a lot of power and is actually destined to end up with these three different guys at the same time. And like, you have like a pattern that you recognize, and that helps you tune off the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of my definition of the fun trash projects.
Yeah.
And you very well know that Knights of Death is my trash project.
Yes.
I still haven't finished it, but it's so close to being completed. So that's definitely my trash project. And my problem that I have with my trash projects is that I do end up trying my best to make them make sense, and they lose some of their trashiness while I do that. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to remind yourself, no, I started writing this for the fun of it. This is
Yeah.
meant to be trash. Stop trying to make it make sense. You
That is
know?
so true. That's so true. I feel like my whole experience with Harris book has been walking myself into plot holes and then having to figure out how I'm actually going to make this work.
Yeah. Do you consider Hera's book to be your self-indulgent trash project?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's a KU girly, 100%.
I love it, Kate.
She's going under a pen name. I think for me, as far as like what defines something as being fun trash, like everything that happens in Hera's book, like the plot, the way the magic is set up, um, all the mechanics of the book work the way that they do so that I can get more romance scenes.
Yes, and that's a core part of fun
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
It's the plot and these side characters only exist for the main character to be able
Yeah.
to have fun.
Yeah. The only reason why I've written her magic to work the way it does is because it creates uh fun things for me to play with in the
Mm,
romance scenes. And so
yes,
everything that I've done just furthers that fun romance aspect. I'm not
I
writing
love
a plot for really like political intrigue or like action. Everything that I've done and set up is a mechanic for the romance.
I love that. Now, I do feel like nowadays there's more and more traditionally published books that are
Hmm.
starting to fall into this category of fun trash. And
Hmm.
my perfect example of that is definitely Bride by Ali Hazoud. But
Mm,
but the thing is, it's so similar to what you're saying about like I remember when I read Bride, I was like, there's a vague political aspect to the context and the background of this story, but
hmm.
it is so not delved deep into that you sort
Yeah.
of see the cracks in it if you look too closely. And you're sort of like,
Yeah.
don't look too closely because this solely exists for this romance to exist
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
That's exactly what Harris book is. I'm just setting up whatever context I need to force these characters into close
Mm,
quarters. And for me, I love to read books where I can see that the author is setting up reasons for why they have to get together, even if they're
yes.
not in love yet, but they will be.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. And also, I think part of it is that aspect of you know what's coming. And I think that's what makes it fun is
Yeah.
even if you start off with like, oh, this is a dark start or there's something really problematic going on, regardless of what it is, you know the path that your characters are going to take.
Yeah.
And I feel like when the reader knows too, that creates this like fun excitement of giddiness of like, I can't wait for this to finally happen moment,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's kind of that fun part of like riding a roller coaster and you see the track ahead of you and know
Yeah.
what you're headed towards. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me see here. Um, Stieg wrote a One Direction fanfic sent 1+ years after the band broke up. So yes, I am familiar with fun trash.
Love it. Love it.
I love this Stieg lore. Marta, I don't have a trash project, but the closest thing I can think of is actually Project Voice, in that it's self-indulgent because it's not useful to me for what I want out of my writing career. Since it's middle grade and I want to be self-published, I don't really know what I will do with it when I finish it. I don't think it'd do well as a self-pub book, but I don't want to trad pub. I disagree with it not being useful. Every project is useful.
Yeah, you learn a lot from anything you write, to be
Hmm.
fair. So even
Yeah.
if it's not useful in terms of publishable in your mindset within a certain like box, it's still useful to you in other ways.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point about like self-indulgent not just being about like uh romance or like trashy content, but also
Yeah.
like self-indulgent as in this project maybe doesn't um like further anything for me or fit somewhere, or maybe it's weird,
Hmm.
but I just really wanted to do it. And that's also how I felt about Project Gemstone when I first started it. As like, I
Yeah.
know this is like a really weird shaped project. and I set out to write something that wasn't novel shaped, but I was like, I'm doing it anyway. Um, Let me see. So I guess it's just my Just for Fun book, which makes it sort of self-indulgent. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Steve said I've also ran into plot holes, but I just throw a landlord special on it and move on.
I love that. Just a quick
That's
like
so
bit of praise
true.
on top of it. Another
That's
layer.
so true.
Don't peel it.
Yeah. Fun trash to me is a book that I'm not diving in deep to try and make it a good conventional book. Like the pacing may be slow, the tropes may be super cliche and not make sense. Like actually is definitely one of my trash projects and it's so indulgent. The pacing is bad, it's overwritten, the plot is a house of cards that will get blown over if you even think too close to it. I also think that sometimes my trash projects can become actually real, like my werewolf
Yes.
romances were supposed to be trashy nothingness, but I've decided I actually want it to hold up and be
This is
built
the
up and be in depth. Even if the vibes are still
problem.
trashy, I'd like it to be good. If that makes sense, I'll edit it to be better. Whereas, like, actually is just for me.
So, Anna, you are one of the few people I've told this to. But when I first started writing Demons, it was the first book I started writing in English. And at the time, I wasn't thinking, I'm going to write a book that I'm going to hope to be publishable one day. I
Mm-hmm.
was legitimately trying to write KU trash on purpose
Ah,
at the very
yes.
beginning of this. And this is why a lot of problems arose later on, because in my head, I was like, this was gonna be a potential reverse harem story with a bunch of hot demons
Mm-hmm.
and my main character Olive discovering they are real and she can control them essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it was gonna be trashy. And then I started writing it and I started being like, wait a minute, this has the potential to be good.
Yeah.
And I started trying to fix all the plot holes that I hadn't tried to fix before because I wasn't going to need to. I was just going to do
Mm-hmm.
the landlord specials.
Yeah.
And then I started being like, no, I actually need to build this house with real bricks. Fuck.
Yeah.
So some of the problems that arose from that is the fact that it was just a reminder, KU trash. My main character
Mm-hmm.
is what age? 19.
Mm-hmm.
Who's she into? A very, very, very old demon. Is that not a staple of the KU trash genre?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I was like, fuck, everyone hates that trope nowadays because it's not great, you know? But I loved it as part of that context. And now it's changed
Mm,
context, but I still have some of these issues. So yeah.
mm, yeah,
So
absolutely.
I feel that Katie's werewolf romance is becoming something she wants to make into something good.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is currently how I feel. Zero Drafting Hare's book. It is a house of cards, and
Yeah.
all the setting stuff that I've set up, if you like got up close to it, it would be like the Truman Show, where it's like built up around the character and then nowhere else.
You don't look at the rest.
Yeah. Lynn said trash feels a little harsh and holds fanfic close to my
We
heart.
say it kindly. I think when us
Hmm.
who love trash use the word, at least for me, it's
Hmm.
in a reclaimed way, just the same way as women at some point were like, I'm a slut and I'm gonna own it because fuck
Hmm.
that term and why is it
Hmm.
derogative when
Yeah.
women can have sex as much as men do? You know?
Yeah.
I see trash in that context in the exact same way where I'm like, it has been looked down upon, especially by men, especially by people who love highbrow literature, etc. But whatever brings you joy in a storytelling format, I think is fantastic. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. So
Yeah. I also like to think of it as popcorn books, as in
yes,
like I am sat for entertainment and entertainment only, and it's got to keep my attention. I want to be sucked into this book, like in a way that I cannot put it down.
we call those station books in French
Mm.
because back in the day, like a long, long time ago, that's how pocketbooks started because you could then have a book at the station while waiting for your train or something.
Mm.
And so they were very short format, very quick stories, things you can read easily and not think about for too long, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hello, some deep mystery. Happy Sunday. I think everything I write right now is self-indulgent. Yes, I
And
do
I love
think
that.
you should have self-indulgent parts of anything you write. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like, where's the fun, you know? Thank you, Marta.
It is. It needs to.
Don't think ADHD would let me write anything that wasn't self-indulgent. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm here for the escapism. I'm not here
Yeah,
for hard labor.
exactly. There's a lot, like Space Princess has, I'd say 75% of it is self-indulgent, and then the rest was built around that to try and make sense of
That's
it.
what I love. That's what I love. We need, reasons for these fun scenarios to exist.
Yeah.
Katie said, backhanded compliment started as my trashy fun project and is so self-indulgent, but it was also the project that people love the most and they connected with it so hard.
Exactly.
Sometimes calling writing self-indulgent is just a trick to make us write a book when it feels hard and impossible.
But I also think sometimes it's because it's a reminder of who are you writing for initially, yourself.
Yourself.
And when you do write for yourself again and you try to remind yourself of that,
Mm-hmm.
then you can see the fun on the page. Like you can see how much fun you had writing it. So
100%.
self-indulgence is good, in my opinion.
I agree completely. All my stories are self-indulgent. Otherwise, what is it all for? Art is an expression of the artist, and restrained art is not the vibe for me.
Mm.
Yeah. I read a thing that talked about writing being fast food or potato chips or, yeah, popcorn. I like that metaphor. That's a good thing because some people need that easy to read happy endings. Yeah,
Yeah.
balanced diet. I also love books that would probably be like your vegetables,
Yeah.
And reading a lot of everything can be a way to make reading fun and interesting, changing it up
Yeah.
all the time. Part of the Gemstone Girl Boss generational trauma.
No, not a generational trauma. It was definitely gas lamp.
Yeah, I remember something else going in that slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do say write a book you want to read because you'll be reading it 72 times, and that is so true.
Yeah.
This conversation is making me think I need to get more self-indulgent when book 2 in the BC universe. It feels too serious because it's contracted, so maybe I'd struggle less if I just let go, which is easier said than done. But of course we
Yeah.
try.
But yeah, I
Man,
bet that's
yeah.
a problem people often encounter where they're suddenly like, oh, wait, this is now a job. And it was more fun when it wasn't. So,
Yeah. But you have to trust yourself, think about the way that you wrote Cruel Summer in its first iteration and your mindset around that first draft and what
yeah.
was in your head and what wasn't, what pressures were not on the
Like,
horizon.
you, every now and then, you have to do a little inspiration reminder
Yeah.
journey of like,
Yeah.
what were the elements that first got you to love
Yeah.
what you wrote?
For me, like when I feel like I'm kind of disconnecting, like I like to go back to my Pinterest board, which is what I did when I first got bit with the Hare's book idea. I made a Pinterest board and like hyper focused on that for like a whole day. And when I look at that, it puts me right back into that moment where I got hit with that idea and
Yeah.
the like almost manic, oh my God, I have to write this right now. And this is what this idea felt like before it was real.
Yeah.
And if you can go back to like the very, very first early days of Cruel Summer, like what did that feel like?
There's one of Ellen Brock's video, who's obviously our goddess amongst writers, right?
I love her, yeah.
Um, so I remember one of her videos talking about when you're starting to self-edit for the first time after you finished your draft. And there's one thing that really stuck in my mind, which was when she was like, make a list of all the things you wanted to include in that draft and what you didn't include and why, and whether you'd want to try a way to find space for that again, like things like any self-indulgent scenes that you may have decided to scrap, for instance. And is
Yeah.
there a way for you to integrate that back in and stuff like that? And I feel like that's a nice way as well to remind yourself after you finish the draft, like, what did I initially want from this, and can I make this still happen, and is this what I have achieved,
Yeah. That's a
including.
huge lesson I feel like I learned this year with Project Gemstone of like taking that time because I was rushing so much, taking
Yeah.
that time to stop and think about what my North Star was. What is my like ultimate vision for this book? And am I going in that direction or am I just changing
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Guess I'll be going and watching more tennis.
I mean, I don't think that's bad. If even if you're saying it as a joke, Katie, and as a way of being like, "Oh
Hmm.
no, I'm gonna have to like not write and watch tennis."
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea though, because you have to go back to your source material. Like, what was your first spark?
Yeah.
And I've been doing that a lot when I don't really have much left for demons because I'm so in the revisions mode. I don't have to go back
Hmm.
to like drafting mode. But
Yeah.
like whenever I jumped back into Space Princess, for instance, I if I was in the middle of a break, I would go back to watch some of the sci-fi stuff that I loved that made me inspired for it initially.
Yeah. Yeah. I have I also bought Polaris Rising on your suggestion, which I know
Yeah,
is an inspiration for Space Princess.
big inspiration.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited to read that
it's
someday soon.
it's it's definitely one of those that feels like it's fun trash, but written by a real scientist person, and you're like, "Oh my god, why are you including some of those hot sci-fi moments in this spicy scene?" I'm exaggerating, but it's like there's a bit of a mix of both, which I kind of loved. So
I love that. Need a fresh take on these sorts of things sometimes, right?
yeah.
So we're going to go into a sprint, but be thinking about our next question on this topic to chat about when we get back. What effect do publishing aspirations or trends have on how we categorize our projects?
Oh, I like that.
Be thinking about that. All right, and I will get our focus back up. And I promise I will leave it up for good this time.
Are you sure?
All right, good luck, everyone. right. That's the end of our second sprint. How did we do? Okay, Malin is finishing something. Let me know how you all did. Wallace is here. Hi, Wallace. And hello, Mike. Thanks for joining. Laura registered for a 5K in February. That's amazing. I love that for you. And Wallace is currently organizing laundry. Great Sunday
Sorry.
activity.
It
No
just
problem.
was like in the middle of a sentence, like I'm not going to remember it if I don't write it right now. And
No, I'm so glad.
it's so close. And I'm also so close to finishing this same chapter I've been in since forever. Like
Amazing.
I've got 100 words left from the original scene to integrate in the new version. So it's very, very close. But yeah, but it's like it makes a lot more sense in this version now. I'm just
Yay.
there's a part of me that's like, this is great, and also so annoyed with myself for ever thinking it was great in the first place.
Dude, can relate.
So yeah, that's where I am in my emotional journey as a writer.
Same. I'm right there with you.
How'd it go for you?
That was very good. I knew where I was going to start the scene this time, so I got into my next scene and I got about 600 words.
Nice.
So I'm
That's
up
really good.
to about 800 for the day because I'm going to count my brain dump words. And
Yes,
yeah,
as you should.
as I should. So it went very
Amazing.
well. Let me go through my comments here. Laura swapped my laundry so I can have work pants and socks. That's good.
Very good.
Marta finished up another chapter on fire.
Nice.
Katie finished my review. 1,824 words in total. I'm going to post it
That
and
is a
then come back.
big review. Nice. Do you
Great
have to have
job.
like a minimum word count for reviews on NetGalley? Like, how does it work? Is there
Yeah.
like criteria?
Stieg reached my midpoint and wrote the first sentence in it. The evening sun graced the mountain ridge in the distance, bathing the city in an eerie red glow like the embers of a dying campfire waiting to be swallowed in the darkness.
Oh my god. I love it. So
What's
exciting.
what's it like to be able to write beautiful description in your zero draft? Because I'm so jealous.
Yeah, what the fuck, Steve? How are you making this feel like a second or third draft already?
I really love that metaphor of the campfire. That's really, really lovely. Yes, we're going to get on to the question. The chapter is called Bad Moon Rising and takes place during the 1881 blood moon. Love that.
It's a good song too.
It is. For NetGalley, there's no minimum. Some people do a little, some do a lot. I just had so much to say, and my English degree pops out every time I have a review to do.
I love that.
Yeah, I feel that. So, on to our second question. Let me know, what effect do publishing aspirations or trends have on how you categorize your projects as far as indulgent or trashy or popcorn?
I think that has changed a lot with time, actually. I feel like we're currently in a time when more and more people are perhaps not dissing, but sort of, looking a little bit less up at traditional publishing and a little bit more at self-publishing work as just as valid compared to before, I would say.
Yeah.
Like even when I started writing, I felt like it was a little bit, the balance was a little bit different than it is now already. Especially with the rise of authors who were first self-publishing and then got traditionally published thanks to their own popularity as self-published authors. Like, I might be wrong, but I feel like maybe someone like Ali Hazelwood would almost count because she was writing fan fiction. So in a way, that is self-publishing work.
Sure.
But there's other romance authors who have gone through the process with actually full-on books self-published on Kindle Unlimited, like what is her name? Tara Hibbert or something like that. I think
Oh,
she's
Talia Hibbert.
Thank you. Yes, I believe she was well known as a self-published author before she got picked up by traditionally published.
I didn't know that.
Or,
That's cool.
I feel like I've heard that before, but I might be wrong again. So I feel like that has probably shifted my own opinions on, you know, what I
Mhm.
want from my work as a writer and what my aspirations are.
Mhm.
Um, and when I first started writing Demons, because it's been so long that this has been going on, someone please make me stop writing in this freaking book. When I first started writing it, I think in my head I had more of a traditional idea of like, I want to get this traditionally published one day because that is
Mhm.
the aspiration and that is how I would love to see myself one day and that is the dream and blah blah blah. And I've reached now a point as a writer where 5 years later, I'm 4 years later. I think I started in the pandemic-ish, so or maybe a bit before. So 4 years down the line, I'm a bit more like some of my work I see as commercially viable, and I'm imagining that I could make it in the traditionally published word,
Mhm.
and some of my work I don't, but I don't see it as not publishable. I just see it as like, oh, I would love to self-publish this. And like when I started writing Nights of Death, I never pictured that once as something that I would try to traditionally.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Hera's book. I'm like, I could never imagine sending this to an agent.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we talked about this a little bit before when I give Bride as an example. Bride uses tropes that came originally from fan fiction writing, like from the Omegaverse. Like she
Mhm.
started writing about knotting and things like that. Don't Google it if you don't want to know about it. But the point is, like, I never thought in my life I would see that in a traditionally published book.
That is crazy.
And
Yeah.
so our perceptions of what is KU trash versus, like traditionally edited,
Mhm.
professionally book and everything are shifting a lot, like a lot.
Yeah, I agree. It's the landscape is changing a lot, and traditional publishing is really borrowing a lot from self-publishing marketing, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like publishing aspirations won't necessarily change what I choose to work on.
Yeah.
Um, and I take a lot of comfort in knowing that like whatever I choose to write, like there is a place for it. And I think that's
Yeah.
something that's new for our generation of writers is whatever you choose to work on, there are a multitude of avenues and places for it to go. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. And I think partially TikTok is probably one of the reasons, and other social media, I'm sure, why things are also sort of moving in the traditionally published landscape. And I think
Hmm.
things going viral and people, sort of not having any experience as a writer originally, but selling an idea
Yeah.
and then people buying into that idea before they've ever seen proof of that person's writing. And then that, or
Hmm.
even just people's taste. Like, it's incredible how much trash I read that I was like, why is everyone hailing this as like,
Yeah.
like a perfect example is, I don't know if anyone in the chat reads the same kind of KU trash I like to read, but I got tricked into reading, I'd say, a lot of words of a book that I regret reading until really late in the night. Um,
It's happened to
I
all
don't,
of us. It's happened to
I
all
don't
of
want to
us.
bash it on Maine, like just in case, but it's heavily inspired by Greek mythology
Mm,
and Roman mythology. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, they'll immediately clock it. Um, and I think the premise of why I got tricked into it is like on TikTok I kept seeing people talk about that book, which makes sense because they would be like, in my algorithm, that's the kind of book initially with the
yeah.
premise that I would be into. And
Hmm.
then I started reading it. I was like, this is terrible. Like, this doesn't break rules. This just doesn't know the rules of
Yeah.
writing. And I think I don't mind it when an author plays with the rules and is like, I know that you're meant to like not have a prologue or not have a character waking up from a dream in the first scene or whatever. And I'm going to play on that on purpose. And there's something about it that is like, this is intriguing to me because it's different because we've been making fun of that. So,
Yeah.
I could get into that. But this just does not know what the rules are. And it's literally just Wattpad fiction,
Yeah. I feel like all of these, like this social media has almost given me permission to take
Yeah.
indulgent projects seriously and sink
Yes.
time into them because I realize that there is literally an audience for everything. There is someone out there
100%.
who will read Hera's book. And
Yes.
it might be two people, but there is someone out there who will enjoy anything. And so like this, like book talk and everything has shown me that like everything has at least that validity of like to be enjoyed.
Agreed. Katie, it's the cover is white with a gold icon on it. I don't know. I can send it to you in DM. I'll just send it to you in DM.
Have you sent this to me also?
Yes, we've talked about this before.
Okay.
But I don't know if I told you what the name of the book was, but I've talked in length about my gripes with it.
I do remember that.
There is so much lore exposition before the book starts.
Oh, yeah.
I like Star Wars, but like Star Wars was not good for that.
The rolling prologue.
Yeah, literally. And I read through it like, what the fuck? I'm never going to remember any of this shit. Like, it's so much before anything starts. And I was just so bored of it. And my main reason why I dropped it, because there was a lot of things that should have made me drop it, as I was red flag upon red flag upon red flag. But then the main thing is I realized, oh no, this is a bully romance. And I'm just not into bully romances, because my men need to be groveling. They do not need to be telling you you're shit and less than nothing. And that is not romantic to me, and that will never be hot to me.
I totally agree. I think Katie figured it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see. Talking about Stieg's snippet, it's just taking the cliches, sun grazing or dipping below mountains is so common, and yeehaw-fying it with a campfire metaphor, very of the genre. I love this take.
I love the yeehaw thing.
You are a good drafter, Stieg. I can tell you right now. In answer to the question, Katie said, I think my mindset has shifted a lot because I have my agent who would tell me if something they can't sell. I have so many ideas that I can pivot if I need to and sell something else. I'm not trying to appeal to everyone, agent taste, and super hooky marketable fiction anymore. And I think now that I have a foot in the door, it may be easier. We'll see. Yeah, that's really interesting, Katie. I'm really curious, like, over the arc of your career, once you have like one or two successes, if you then get to be Allie Hazelwood and write those really indulgent things that
people are like, yeah, we'll publish it because you're known and you'll sell it.
Yeah, you get more license to follow your heart.
Katie, I do have a question for you as someone who is getting published. And also, Wallace, if you're still in the chat and you want to answer it, as well as someone who is published traditionally, I mean, is there anything that you're like, I really want to write this project, but I need to prioritize the ones that are going to get traditionally published now, and so you stop yourself from writing the more self-indulgent ones because of it? Or are you trying to set aside time for both and trying to like divide your time into doing a bit of both? Because I mean, it's also something that we all like. The part of the fun of being a writer is writing things you're like, that will never get published, but this is so fun. And I would be so scared of losing that if one day by some miracle I got traditionally published. So I'm really curious of whether that is something you have to consider.
New considerations for sure. Yeah, we all know the plight that is publishers dropping you if you don't become a bestseller in the first week. Ooh, a little frightening. I think this means that you are one of my 2 Hera fans. I hope so. Let me see. Yeah, I read a whole thread on Twitter exposing how bad it is.
Send it to me. I'm so curious. Because all I'm seeing is the TikToks of people talking about this book and like they're loving it. They're loving it, and I don't understand, because this is the thing about why I find this topic we're talking about fascinating, is like there's some books that I will introduce it to you by starting, this is trash, and I'm well aware of it, but you will love this specific brand of trash, right? Like, I'm aware of its flows. I'm aware this goes into really stereotypical tropes or whatever. Main girl looks at herself in the mirror and describes her look, for instance. You know, like there's some things you know is trashy, but it's fun and you want it. But the people who are loving this book don't think it's bad, is my point. And that's what blows my mind.
That's just what, social media has shown us, is that the enjoyment people get out of books is so different and
No,
varied,
I
and
know, but
yeah.
my point is like I will get enjoyment from something I'm still aware of its quality.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? And like
yeah,
these people aren't aware of its quality. They're just enjoying it. And like I'm like, you
yeah.
can do both though. You can still, be aware that compared to
Hmm.
something else, it might not be the best quality, but this is your specific brand of trash that you love, and that's fine.
Yeah, shows us that the bar is actually probably way lower than we think it is.
Yes. And same as you, this reassures me a lot in some of my projects.
What was that?
Same as you, it reassures me a lot in some of my projects that I'm
Yeah,
like, I can get this published.
exactly. Like this has a place, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own taste, but I do bombastic side eye to people who love bully romances a little too much.
Now,
Yeah.
this is a safe space. It's just not my personal preference. I just don't like it. I like the groveling.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever had a man grovel? My self-indulgent project was the one that got me my book deal, so I resigned myself to not understanding the market at all.
And that's
It's,
what
yeah,
Katie said as well. Both of you said your self-indulgent projects made
yeah.
it.
One reader's trash might also be another reader's trash.
True.
Okay, I think I have an interesting answer to this. I think I'm actually prioritizing expanding my backlist, and so I want to write a lot of the trashy romances projects and build an audience and maybe be a 2 book a year author with a few series. And then
Ooh,
later in my career, I'd come back to my intense, thick, epic fantasies and take time to write them. So I'm putting those on the back burner for the foreseeable future. So actually, I'm prioritizing my trashy romances instead of my high fantasy. So I'm almost doing the reverse, weirdly. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind, but I'd love to build a backlist of so many books and have those income streams. Yeah,
that's
this
really
is
interesting.
a very clear influence of that publishing pressure, but
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, you love those projects. You're not being forced to write something that is
Yeah.
not still indulgent and fun and on brand for you.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense when you're having to be career minded. What can you get done quickly is definitely important.
If there's a weird noise in the background, it's because Edgar is under the desk and he's currently scratching the back of his head against the
Oh.
plugs and it's making a noise. So sorry.
He's just here to be a menace today.
Yes, 100%.
Um, Let me just make sure I didn't skip anybody.
I think you skipped
Um,
Teague answering about the rule breaking thing.
oh,
And
yep.
oh,
I
yeah.
agree with Malin. Breaking the rules can be fun if you know that you're breaking the rules, but breaking the rules because you don't know the rules gets very trite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, if you like toxic things, I also side eye it, like those dark romance readers that loves uncon stuff and abuse stuff, and I'm like, who hurt you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely all have boundaries when it comes to what's actually entertaining
Yeah.
and can still be in that lighthearted like popcorn mode, like you were
Yeah.
saying earlier, Malin.
Yeah, I think I've got no issues with other people liking that kind of stuff, but I feel like there's more and more people I think who are comfortable talking out loud about some of these topics like they're completely normal to like in a way
Mm-hmm.
that I'm still a bit shocked maybe because I'm a bit perhaps more conservative in my head about some of these topics, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the discourse is sometimes like so open, relaxed and chill about some of those things and those dark romances and the way
Yeah.
for instance people have adored that specific Hermione fanfic that you tried reading and then told me it's non-con.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? And I think that's what I don't understand is there's, not everything needs a trigger warning, but some things, if you're talking about it, like recommending it to all of your friends, to all of the internet who wants to
Mm-hmm.
listen to and everything, and you're not taking into consideration that there are some very young people, very people who might not know what to expect and then run into this and for the first time read something like that and you're not
Mm-hmm.
taking any of that into consideration when you're recommending these types of books, then I'm annoyed at these people. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, if you're recommending non-con to probably some 15-year-olds on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
you're an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. I really have come to really appreciate like the clear communication that authors are doing about what to expect from this book,
Yeah.
especially with, being in these genres. Like Wallace's author note at the beginning of Adasm, I thought was really nice, not only just to include the content warnings, which I think are important, but also like, hey, this is what this book will provide. It's not
Yes.
meant to be a dark book. Hopefully it will be a warm hug of a book. That's my intent. But
Yeah.
here's some things to know. And I think like that can be really fun and nice to
Yeah.
put on a popcorn book, to be like, not that Adasm is a popcorn book, but like, if you're looking for something that's just entertaining, I think it's nice to have that like communicated.
To know from the start what you're getting into. Yeah.
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 I'm so sorry. I did skip Laura. I would love to get a novel traditionally published, so my short stories have been on the back burner. The lack of debut middle grade horror deals is making me turn to adult for now, which I have tons of ideas for anyway. I think that makes sense. And yeah, definitely another instance of having to pay attention to what's going on in the publishing
Yeah.
world. It's so
Yeah.
odd that that middle grade horror bubble like came and went so fast.
Yeah, it is weird. I would expect it to last longer.
Felt like it was so hot there. Um, Sorry, I'm so lost in the sauce with these comments right now. Um, did I skip
Um,
Marta too? I think I basically answered the question earlier, but yeah, my adult fantasy ideas are on the serious list. Anything outside of that is for fun and may or may not be published later down the line. Um, Thank you guys for participating so much.
you know what? I had like a flash of like a moment of realization. I was like, oh my God, Anna, we're the two straight white guys with a mic who decide to start a podcast.
Oh
Except the
no.
podcast includes the audience. But this is us.
Oh no. I think we have to quit. I think it has to be our last one.
No, you know what? We have to embrace it now. We have to embrace it.
Oh no. Oh no. But we're in a cozy space. We're just with friends. We're
Yes.
all sitting in it. We have commandeered a
We
coffee
have
shop.
more of an audience than they do.
We're in a coffee shop with our 11 closest friends
Yes.
and we're just yapping and no one has mics. um but also as someone that's been working on one overly complicated fantasy book for 10 years, I understand the need for income. Yeah. It's definitely fair. Like it's not a bad thing to be thinking about how publishing is affecting things and your
Yeah.
choices. Like that's not
I think
uh,
sometimes it's I think Steve might remember this. I feel like in one of the craft books we read, someone mentioned how unfortunately it's sometimes seen as being a sellout when you think about things from a
mhm.
commercial point of view, when
Yeah.
in reality it's a necessary part of your craft. Like you
Mhm.
might want to make money out of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's
Yeah.
this ideal of the artist who's doing this for no money at all, you know? And it's just like,
Mhm.
no, I want to write porn. I'm not that artist. Leave me alone.
And I think too, like particularly with when books are your medium and books are your
Mm.
art, like a part of writing books inherently is having other people read them. Like maybe
Yes.
more so than drawing or art. Like of course, like having people react to your art is important and lovely, but like books are made to be read.
Yeah.
That's why we go through all this effort and pain.
Yes. Agreed.
um I also fear that some of those dark romances have problematic elements, and I like watching reviews of them and discussing how it's
Yeah.
problematic and how it's harmful to real people. Yeah, very
I
important.
don't have a problem with the existence of them per se. I have a problem with how people are
Hmm.
marketing them, talking about them without the trigger warnings
Yeah,
necessarily.
the normalization. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way algorithm on social media works today, there's a lot of echo chambers about, and you sometimes forget that the rest of the world, in fact, do not read Uncommon Hermione fics. And that is so
Well,
true.
yeah, you say that, Steve, but enough people read that one that is getting traditionally published. So
Wow. Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one we talked about because
that's
everyone
right.
started saying, "Oh, she's getting a traditionally published deal,
I'm
so she's gonna get."
I forgot that that happened, and I'm really interested to see how they handle that, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
that that author's note will be chunky, and I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Fiction isn't in a vacuum, and while it's okay to read stuff, I also think the nuance is that there is problems within the genre, and with the way it's written, there needs to be care in the craft. Um, oh yeah, yeah. Lizelle's author notes are really top tier. I would definitely use her as a model as well. They literally eat kettle corn. Yeah. But like high-end popcorn that's made by a professional popcornist. I just feel like I'm doing a real bad job getting to everybody
No,
today.
you're doing a fantastic job, don't worry. And you're doing even a better job because you look so professional with your headset. So that's part of it.
This is my corporate girly headset. This is
Yes.
my version of like white guy with a huge mic, but I have
Yes.
yeah. The starving artist who is isolated and lonely, has no community is so not true. Hate
Yeah.
it so much. I don't remember.
I think it was in one of the craft books someone mentioned it, but I can't remember which one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been struggling with some thoughts about YouTube because I want to make a change, but it feels like I'm only doing it because I want to get monetized. And that feels like being a sellout too. So thanks for the reminder that you were allowed to make money from your art. Ugh,
Yes.
I deeply feel this, Marta. I am not monetized, and I still think about like, could I try harder with my YouTube channel? And do I want to do that? Am I like
Mm,
thinking about that just because it's like reaching a certain benchmark? Um, would I
yeah.
even, it's almost like I don't even think I would really care that much once I got to that benchmark. It suddenly,
Just
it's just the
reaching
not having it.
reaching I think 1,000 subscribers was probably the only thing in my mind that I probably set up as an imaginary goal. And when it happened, I was really happy about it. And since then I haven't posted a single video. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's almost like it stops mattering and it's
Yeah.
just the,
Yeah. And the only reason why I liked the idea as well is because when other people ask you, like, if you ever talk to anyone who's more like outside of our community about some of the stuff you do, like writing, making YouTube videos, etc., I feel like so much more justified and validated instead of just saying like, yeah, I have a small YouTube channel, it's a bit, don't go
Mhm.
look it up, blah blah. To be
Yeah.
able to say like, yeah, I have 1,000 followers on it. Like it's nice. It's just a
Mhm.
nice validating feeling.
Yeah, and then that once you have that, then it's like fleeting, and then you're like, what's next?
And I'm 1,000% using this in the exact same way when I'm talking about my writing to other people and I'm talking about this community of writers. And by the way, I don't ever tell my fake name or any, like, I don't give people information to find it. It's just like if I'm ever talking to someone about this hobby of mine and I'm mentioning the community, I'm using Wallace and Katie. And I'm saying like, yeah, two of my friends are getting like really big $24 deals, just so you know. So like, this is real stuff, you know.
Ah, that's so funny. We will name
That's my
drop.
validation moment.
We will name drop. That's something you
Yeah.
have to know. That was such a compliment. Like the dad in Easy A who says his daughter would be a classy escort for senators. Sell out, Marta. My goal is to get my channel monetized in 2025. Now that YouTube puts ads on my videos anyway, I'm gonna get my $2 bag.
Yes.
That's a great point. And I'd love to know, Marta, what is the change that that you're thinking about? Because I'm sure I'm kind of in the same boat. Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
taking a break from YouTube, but I feel the pressure to come back so I can capitalize on the little bit of success. Like I won't be making videos to find community because I have that. I won't be making videos for the creativity, like I'll be making it as content for others. It's an interesting distinction that I've realized, but definitely capitalize the monetization of art and name drop as much as you want. Yeah, I definitely it's such like nonsense to be not nonsense, but silly to be thinking so deeply about this when my channel is so tiny. But you do think a lot about like what are my values and uh, I want my channel to align with my values and I don't want to be pushed to make something that I'm making just for the sake of making it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
like there's another way you can become a sellout, which is just to do things for not you're not enjoying it at all anymore. But I think
right.
this concept of like you're a sellout because you're thinking of money, it's so dumb because you can think of money and do something you enjoy at the same time. Like both
Right.
are not
Both
incompatible.
can be true. We can hold both at
Yes,
the same time. Yeah.
exactly.
I still want to make videos for myself. I just feel like I spend so much time on it right now and I'm not getting anything out of it, I feel like I can do better. Yeah. And I think that's, Marta, that's part of what's like bothering me right now is the I feel like I can do better part, where I'm
Mhm.
looking at my videos lately and I'm like, this no longer is meeting my bar. And I feel like I can push myself a little more like artistically.
Yeah.
And I am just not getting the same like self satisfaction out of what I'm making. And that's honestly what's more like prickly. I'm glad I never started the writer YouTube pipeline, but something in my wish I low key did it. Well, you always can.
Yeah.
Never say never. Tell them they can pre-order Backhanded Compliments at their favorite store on Amazon.
I've already got a friend I keep telling about that book because she is literally a bisexual woman who plays tennis all the time. So
Amazing. Amazing.
I'm like constantly telling her, just so you know, my friend's book is coming out that date and you're going to want to read it. And yeah.
That's incredible. And then have her spread it around all her tennis clubs.
Yes.
That's fair. You probably should enjoy the editing part of things.
Yeah.
Trying to split time is so hard. I spend so much time on content, but the job that I want is a writer. I can't prioritize YouTube when it takes so much of my writing time.
Yeah.
And the change I'm thinking of is basically starting a new channel for algorithm reasons, which I think I've 80% decided I want to do, but it feels wrong that it's for algorithm reasons. Well, maybe it's more about like mentally getting that fresh start, and that can be
Yeah. You can,
valuable.
I think a rebranding is always fine. Like you can do one whenever you want. And for some people, it might just be a rebranding on the same channel. And then for some other people, it's like just started as a new channel. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with that. We'll validate it, Marta. We're okay with
Yeah.
it. So there
I
we
will
go.
be there. I will subscribe with my 4 Google accounts.
Yes. Same. I only have three, but I'll do the same.
Wallace, I would love this. I have to edit a video this week, so I'd be down.
Yeah.
Takes me so long to make videos, and if it isn't up to my standards, if I take any less time, exactly. So if they aren't up to my standards, why would I make it? Exactly. Guess my live streams is the YouTube content I provide, and the set it and forget it format of live streams works perfectly, and that's amazing. And your live streams are so valuable. We get so much out of them.
Yeah.
Do it. Make the new channel. Use the algorithm. It isn't bad to do it for that, and it's a tool that we should be using. Yeah.
100%.
Once again, like algorithms are poisoning our lives, so if we can make them work for us in one way or another, let's do it.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, exactly. I think if it can get you mentally excited about it, then it's worth doing. All right, we are going to do one more sprint, you guys.
Yes.
Sorry for the yap. Balance looking at
Don't
me like,
apologize. I'm
hello.
enjoying the app.
Okay, so here's our last question on this topic. As a reader, what do you look for when picking out a trashy self-indulgent book to read? When you're picking up your Kindle and you're like, I just want to go read this until 4 a.m. Let me find the perfect entertaining read. What are you looking for? I'd love to know. Maybe we can get some inspiration out of it.
Yes. Maybe we can write it for you.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we'll steal your ideas. All right, here's another 25 minutes. Good luck, everyone. Alrighty.
So soothing.
Can you hear it?
A little bit. It's very faint, but I can still hear it a little bit.
Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. I was very afraid of frightening people.
I think it's probably just louder for you than it is for us on.
Indeed. Well, how did you do?
Good. I fed the dog and then let him out for
Good.
his evening business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now I'm gonna monitor closely for any sound of him retching because I'm just really worried.
Oh, poor guy. I'm sorry he's not feeling well.
The thing is, because he did puke yesterday, and it should be fine because he did his business as normal and he's drinking water. So my experience with having a dog now is, as long as things are passing through, you're
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
If nothing passes through, then there's a problem.
And I'm glad
So
he's drinking water.
I think he ate something dumb on a walk yesterday. He always tries to eat fox poops as much as he can. And
Yeah.
like we
Yummy,
have to
yummy.
run like crazy behind him, like, no, fucking stop.
He's just crazy for Cocoa Puffs, Cuckoo for
Yeah,
Cocoa
exactly.
Puffs.
It's like, it's so weird because I've always owned a cat before, and owning a dog is like, so it's like a cat, but it keeps trying to kill itself, and you really have to try to stop him from doing that.
That's so true. Yeah, my parents adopted a dog last year, and they've just in 1 year been through so much with this little puppy. Like they
Yeah.
were away visiting friends, and he like found rat poison under the bed and was like, "Oh, yummy, yummy." Like
I
just
can't with like animals are so clever and stupid at the same time. Like,
yeah.
yeah. But other than that, I did manage to write a little bit
Good.
in the second half, and I am in the middle of the serial killer chase, as you know it.
Excellent.
And
I love
I
that
had
scene.
a lot less to change in that scene, which reassures me
Mm,
because I do remember it as one of my favorite scenes to write. And indeed, I feel like my writing was better in that scene. So, like,
good.
there's less rewriting. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that scene so much. Um, I did well. A lot of that sprint was my stretch break. I got up and got some snacks and put on my
Good.
sweater and just kind of walked around a little bit. But I did get back to it there at the end of the sprint. So I'm over 1,000 words for today. So I'm
Nice.
excited about
Very
that.
good.
And if we keep writing, I probably will cross 40K in the whole draft, which would be very exciting because I feel like I've been in the 30s for my entire life and I want to get out of the 30s.
You can do it.
Yeah, so that's very exciting.
I think
Um,
I've also got like your 20K goal for the month, but my
mhm,
word counts are like so on and off because sometimes I'm rewriting a lot and then I'm counting all
yeah,
that. And sometimes I'm not rewriting a lot and there's only one word every 2 words that I'm changing or something. So it's a very vague calculating system.
mhm,
So
yeah.
I'm sitting at 9K so far. So I need
Ooh,
like another 800 words or something to
oh
like
my
hit
gosh.
my goal for this half of the month. Like, what do
You
I have?
are right on track then, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. Katie spun a wheel to pick what she was going to work on during that sprint.
Oh, I love that idea.
And it once again was the cowboy romances.
Of course.
I think the universe is speaking to you. You've been mouthpieced, Katie.
If you're not sure about the wheel, I would suggest, D&D dice. Like, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if however many you have, projects, choose the right amount of
Yeah,
sides and do that because I personally feel like it's more satisfying and gratifying when you can do it physically in real life rather than online with a wheel because of the knowledge we have that nothing is truly random when it's online because it's all mathematically calculated and I sort of hate that.
algorithms.
Yeah, I hate that. So I just prefer doing it physically because that's how you can generate true randomness. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, another excuse to break out the dice.
Yes.
Oh, that's an answer to a question that we will come back to. Steek said, I did the dishes and wiped down my kitchen, now prepping for Tuesday's craft stream, which is with Malin.
I finished reading it this morning. That's volume 1. Where's volume 2? I finished reading it this morning, by the way,
Oh,
because
exciting.
I kept telling Steek I'm not going to read the whole book because I'm only reading some of the chapters that I was interested in, but I ended up reading everything. And I felt validated in my initial choice and should have not, because I actually just enjoyed the chapters I had initially read.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love those books. I see them like a charcuterie board.
Yes, and I think actually I don't care much for his writing tips, and I just care for the world building tips more so. And that's the main part I wanted to read initially. So yeah.
Amazing. I'm excited to see the stream.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much because then Steve's going to be mad at me that I'm, spoiling it in advance.
I will not press any further. Steve's word count plan for the day was 700, but ended it with 1091. Amazing.
Amazing.
That's a yeehaw indeed.
Yeah.
Serial killer, I only read one.
There are more people dying in the book, but he's not the cause of all those deaths.
Katie dove into mood boarding and ruminating on the cowboy romances, which are more like Western romantic suspenses, but it's fine, just vibing. Started working on some gifts I'm making instead of writing. That sounds really cozy and nice.
But that still sounds productive.
Someday I will write again. I'm having visions of choking at the finish line with my 100K Q4 goal, though. No, you're going to be fine. You've been crushing it.
You can do it.
You're going to be fine. I did some beta reading and let my computer charge. Yes, keep reminding me because my iPad is at 23% and I need to keep an eye on that. So please keep reminding me because I will just disappear from StreamYard and that will be when my iPad has died.
Oh my god. Is that when we are ending the stream?
Is that we just write until my iPad dies?
No.
Steve can relate. That's also how I felt about my 40s. It lasted forever. So when I reached 50K the other day, it felt like Frodo spotting the eagles on the side of Mount Doom. That's exactly it. I feel like it's going to be like all downhill from the 40s for me because this book is really short. If I hadn't added one more idea, I could have just used a regular die. Maybe I'll do that during my next late night stream. I'll roll a dice instead. Very cool. Can never be mad at you. You're going to get it, Wendy. Let us know if you need us to bully you and keep you accountable. I will shame you into doing your 100K in Q4.
I love that.
You've got this in the bag, Wendy. You've already done so much work to get yourself to this point. You're going to get it. Don't worry. All right. Well, let's dive into this is the last question I had prepared. As a reader, what do you look for when picking out a trashy, self-indulgent book to read?
I feel like that's probably the hardest one to answer because I often feel like it's more, I may have a vague idea of something I might want to read, but then it ends up, the criteria end up being more about what I don't want. And then what I'm like, nope, not that. Nope, not that. And like all of the things that I'm not looking for. And I think we've already talked a little bit about it when I said like a bully romance is just a no for me. But I do feel like if I'm looking for a trashy, self-indulgent book to read, I am lowering my standard a lot. So I'm not being too regarding in terms of like the writing style and the writing craft. So like pacing and like character crafting and things like that. And I'll be often more drawn to supernatural settings. So any sort of like romance in that realm will do it for me. But if I feel like the synopsis sounds too much like, I want to say like a real book, you know what I mean? Like if it sounds too much like a traditionally published book, like it's going to be too good, then I actually usually don't want to read it. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like I might save it, I might download it for later or something, but I'm like, that is not what I'm looking for right now. I need for the synopsis to tell me this is going to be some sort of trash, you know?
Yeah. Does it have that like bingeable, like I'm going to read this in 2 days kind of thing?
Yeah, or sometimes just literally over one night, you know? And then the other thing I'm always looking for is what I love is that the genre authors have conventionally often added at the end, what is it called? HEA, happy ending for all or something? Is that what it means?
Happily ever after?
Happily ever after. Yes, I think that's what I like my version better. Happy ending for all.
Yeah, more equitable, honestly. More inclusive.
So I feel like whenever I see that, I'm like, yes, that's gonna be for me because I'm not someone who likes dramatic, tragic endings. Like I need for
Yeah.
things to be happy for everyone.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff that I'll be like, nope, that's not for me, will often unfortunately be things like there's a balance to the trashiness, and
Hmm.
some of it will be like, no, that's a little bit too trashy, and then some of
Hmm.
it is like, oh, this is going to be too slow paced, or I'm not getting like sometimes I'll try it and within the first few chapters I'll just know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
I
it's
agree.
vibe. It's a vibe, isn't it? So it's
It
hard
is a
to.
vibe. It's hard to quantify.
I know.
I think for me, I really get got by two things when I'm in this particular mood. And the first is the cover art. Like I know it's not
Yeah,
popular right now, but if there are characters on the cover that look interesting,
yeah,
I'm adding to cart. Like I get really got by character art and
yeah.
character illustrations. So if they are really
Unfortunately,
beautiful,
the other way around as well, which is a shame because some books have terrible covers and are actually great, but you look at the cover and you're like, I don't want to read this. It looks awful.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, something about just really beautiful cover art like really does it for me.
Yeah,
And the second thing is I guess I look for this in like other reads as well, but I will really get excited about like a popcorn book that has a really, really specific, particular kind of setting. Like
yeah.
if it's just set in generic castle fantasy, I
Mm,
sometimes have a hard time with that because, you know, they're probably not going to provide a lot of world building. They're probably not going to be like super detailed uh,
yeah,
with the setting. And so then it just really has this really generic flavor to it. So I feel like almost if you are more specific about it, you can get away with less, if that makes any
yes.
sense.
And there's like trends with the settings as well. I feel like sometimes
Hmm.
I'll see more like I feel like at some point academia was like a big thing and I kept seeing popping up a lot of um like school but for older people so we can justify all the sex scenes type of
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
New adult course. It's just like oh she's being told that she has powers and she has to learn to control them so she has to go to this elite academic setting
Of
vibes.
course. Of course.
You know, it's always, and I feel like I saw a lot of these at some point, and I never read these, so I don't know what they're like. I kept seeing prison settings, so that was like a trend, and I kept seeing
Bro.
like, and I think that was part of the rise of like the bully and dark romance genres.
Hmm.
Probably, I don't know, but yeah, there's like some
Interesting.
settings that I feel like are trendy, and then others you don't see enough of, and I'm like, but I'm looking for this specific thing.
Yeah, yeah, there are very specific things that, like, will be auto buy for me.
Yeah,
Pirates is one,
oh, I love
and
that.
spies, as we said, is another one. Um, Anything that has, like, kind of a court fantasy, but again, it like, that one's
Mm,
kinda iffy because it needs to not feel like generic
yeah,
fantasy. Like,
yeah, that's
your
hard to
story
find.
is kind of a court fantasy in space.
Yeah, court fantasy and space I do love as well. Like any like Polaris Rising and that series, I love because
Mhm.
there's this idea of like, okay, there's royalty, but it's sci-fi, and it
Yeah,
feels a bit like sci-fi meets Bridgerton vibes in some
yeah.
ways. I do love that.
And that's just that little, like, dose of specificity that makes it
Yeah.
really exciting to me, that one in particular. All right, well, let's see. I know Steek said, I, for one, revel in the herald of this new Wild West area of our community and American culture in general are going through. What a perfect time for cowboy romance, Katie. Get on it.
And you know what? After watching Fallout and completely falling in love with the show, more so than the video games, because I already knew the video games from watching my husband play them, but like after watching the TV show, I want so badly more cowboy set in like post-apocalyptic settings. You know, like sort of
Mm,
like because I always love that fantasy side of things, and I feel like
yeah.
the cowboy genre or the western genre is has a great setup for a subgenre of the fantasy setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. I would definitely pick up books with that kind of setting. Katie looks for tropes and vibes. Also, I look at the author's Instagrams and see if the aesthetic
or vibe is what I want. I follow a lot of indie authors, so I tend to look through their books first. And what a campaign slogan. Happy endings for all. I would vote for you, Malin.
But the thing is, I think of it because of all the there's a lot of Korean drama as a genre loves, and like manhwas love to do this thing where not only do you have the main couple, but the side characters, like the second male lead, also gets his happy ending with some other girl, and then maybe the
Yeah.
best friend is that other girl, or she has her own happy ending with some other guy, or like. And I love when it's like happy endings for all, you know, such as
I
the main
love that.
couple.
Maybe that is what it means in that case. I love that. Marcia used that sprint for dinner and then came back a little late, but that's okay. You can catch up. We have some love for more cowboy romance, love and adventure romance, but I don't find a lot. Where the
Oh
romance
yeah.
is the main and the adventure is secondary. It's usually the opposite. I
Give
so
me all the
agree.
mummy. Give me all
Yeah.
the mummy settings.
Yeah. Adventure romance is a great term for it. I hadn't heard that before, but that is exactly like what my taste is, I think.
Like, have you watched that Jungle movie with The Rock and Emily Blunt in it? It's like a newish Disney from like
Um,
earlier before.
no, but I did love the Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock jungle adventure romance.
So very not similar to that one, but I was going to say the Jungle one with Emily Blunt is very mummy coded in my head because it has
Ah,
a similar balance of adventure romance in it.
love.
And I'm obsessed with that genre. And like similarly, because I feel like we've talked a lot recently about how people aren't doing pining right and they're not doing romance right anymore. And I see that a lot of like the
Hmm.
shitty Hallmark types of movies that Netflix is like regurgitating.
Oh
And
my
it's just like
God.
there's no romance in it. It's not actually romantic. And I'm not looking at anyone thinking, oh my god, that's hot. It's just not. There's
Yeah.
no romance, you know?
We need to build this romantic castle on some foundation of
I
chemistry,
know.
please.
And surprisingly, sometimes it's not the movies you expect. And I don't know if anyone in the audience has watched The Meg, but that is one of my favorite adventure romance
I
movies.
do remember you telling me this. Yes.
Because the side characters who are like the best friends of each of the main, like the two, you know, the main guy and the main girl, the
Yeah.
side characters who are like the best friends of each are constantly teasing them about the potential romance between them. And it's so high school like that. It's like, it makes you want to kick your feet. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
you're just giggling like hee hee.
yes. And it's so funny that it's in the setting of a fucking big shark attacking type of movie. But
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. Firefly's on my list for sure.
You know what? Serenity is one of my favorite movies of all times, but
Mm,
I would rate it higher than the show personally, just because the show didn't get like proper endings and everything. But I love the movie.
yeah. Do love that as well in a K-drama. Love that jungle movie, but Jack Whittall's American accent.
Yeah, it's bad. It's terrible.
The Meg is so fun, so bad, but I loved it.
That's what we called good trash.
Yeah,
It's
this
like,
is indulgent.
yes, that's the definition.
Amazing, amazing. All right. Well, that was all that I had. We have been going for 3 hours. I think if
That's
it's okay, I will end it here.
fair.
I'm really
How
happy with the
dare
amount
you?
of writing I did. I did promise Luke that I was going to make cookies this afternoon. So unless we want to put on a sprint, and I will just be making cookies. But
You can also do that if you want. Otherwise, if you are going to end it here, I might take over on a solo stream
do
at some
it.
point and just do quite long sprints because I need to make dinner and stuff like that. But like 45 minutes long sprints type of thing.
Yeah, I think I'll be in and out in the chat, but I can't
Yeah.
promise that I will be consistent. And I'll try not to be a menace and accidentally block people.
Don't plug me in there.
I hope that's okay. Um,
See, you're the one who complained when Anna said she was going to end the stream, and now you're like, don't leave. You're like, leave.
I timed it just for you, Steeg. This was just for you.
It's all on purpose and not at all to do with the charging of her iPad.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Marta. I'm sorry. Yes.
True.
Thanks for coming, friends. Oh yeah, Melissa McCarthy. I love her to death, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You have lots of encouragement to keep it rolling.
Give me like 5 minutes to set things up and all that. And then I'll be there.
I feel bad for for ditching, but I feel like this was a really awesome, productive 3 hours too.
I feel like we had a really good chat on that
We
one. It
did.
was
I
a good
really
topic.
love
Yeah.
this topic so much. It
Mm.
makes me, honestly, I'm so excited to go curl up and read, honestly, this afternoon too. Maybe I'll do some
This
reading
is why you're
while,
leaving. You're now thinking about all the
like,
self-indulgent stuff. Yeah, I
oh,
know.
maybe instead of writing, which is so hard, I could just read KU trash and it would be so much more fun. Anything on the horizon that you want to plug? What's coming up?
I'm streaming with Stig on Tuesday to talk
Mhm.
about On Writing and World Building Part 2, Volume 2
Yay.
by Timothy Hickson. And I think that's it because I don't have any other solo streams planned for the rest of the month because I'm going home on Wednesday and I don't know what I'm
Mhm.
going to do then. But maybe I'll do pop-up ones. So yeah.
Amazing. I would love that.
What about you? Any solo streams you're doing later this month?
I was going to do one on Wednesday, but I will sadly be canceling that. We had a change of plans and we have family coming to stay. So they will be staying in this room. So I'm not going to kick them out while I stream.
Just like come in and be like, sorry guys, I just gotta do
Yeah.
this one thing and hi gang, how's it
Yeah.
going?
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're going to take a holiday break from the solo streams. But I will be posting a video a week from today on Sunday. So I've been doing a December vlog, and it's so full of Christmassy content. I'm really excited actually to edit, and
So
I think it'll be
excited.
fun. Yeah.
I need to do something similar just to wrap up of the year at least. Because I said I
Yeah.
was going to do that and then I still haven't done that. So yeah.
I absolutely go feral for like wrap up videos and like yearly reflections and New Year goals. Like we're starting to get into that sort of swing of things, and I'm really excited to just like sit down on YouTube with my coffee and get everybody's wrap ups. I think it's really fun.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thank you all to our 9 closest friends for sticking with us through this super long stream. It was really
Who dropped
fun.
off? There were 11 of you before.
Our 9 true fans. This was really fun. I love this topic. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see all of you on Malin's channel hopefully in a little bit. And
I'll try. Give me 5 to 10 minutes, guys.
yeah.
See you then.
Happy writing, everyone. Bye.
Bye.